Hey everybody, Dr. B here. Thank you so much for taking the time this evening and listening how you could make money passively by partnering with me for Elevation, right? So I'm not going to waste any more time. I am going to share my screen and we are going to begin, right? Um, 1 second as all right, someone came on and dropped off and more folks have come on too. Okay, cool. So I'm not gonna waste anyone's time. Really quickly, just before, where are you guys from? Where is everyone from? Where is everyone taking a call from? So I should be able to yeah, everyone can chat. Everyone can chat. Okay, good. Let's see if you guys are paying attention. I'm gonna start in New Jersey. All right, excellent. Let's see who else is on the call. Hey Kendra, hey Travis, Rafael, where are you guys texting me from or from? Let's take a look. New York, all right, Kendra. PA, Jersey, all right, we have the tri-state area represented. Excellent, excellent. All right, looks like we are recording and we are underway, recording to the cloud. All right, good. So welcome to, Elevate and Earn. How can you raise capital for real estate and business? Your 90-day system with me, Dr. B, right? So it's all about being able to, for everyone here to be a partner for the future for Elevation, right? So a little bit about Elevation started as an idea a couple of years ago, and then thanks to Chris Williams and his organization, Group Coaching Nation, was able to help me put together a mastermind that could help folks, initially coaches, consultants, how to elevate their business through networking in 90 days, and most recently pivoted into helping investors and entrepreneurs raise capital in 90 days, right? So a little bit different. But now I think I have the right secret sauce, the right formula, and I'm happy to be here and share a little bit about my story. And from there, see how can you guys make some money at the same time. Awesome. So, some of you guys might have seen this, may have not seen this, right? So, a little bit about me. I am a part owner of a 52 unit in Southern Pines, North Carolina, a 48 unit in Hickory, North Carolina, and I did invest as a limited partner on a 120 key hotel in Lake Charles, Louisiana, which is going through some renovations at the moment. I have over 2 decades of experience in higher ed and financial services. I have done training on various topics such as networking, lead gen, prospecting, and of course, capital raising. I am the host of the Dr. B Show and now Deals and Dreams. I am a two-time best-selling author and a course creator. I oversee programming for the statewide Hispanic Chamber of Commerce of New Jersey here in New Jersey. My DBA is in marketing from Walden University. I am mentored in the world of real estate by Amy and Sean McNichols, Mike Ely, Mika Woody, and Wendell Guzman in the world of real estate, and of course in the world of group coaching, Chris Williams, and events, Caleb Fowler. Excuse me about that. Fun fact: I've attended 21 WrestleManias, and I put a new fact: I've been to 8 Met playoff games. Most recently, 2 of them last year, and hopefully more to come in 2025. Right. Um, One of my goals is to own 1,000 units in the next 12 to 18 months. The team, Mike Ely and I, were planning to close a 300 plus unit in about a month. So that'll put me almost at the halfway point, and I'm just a deal or two away from 1,000. So I'm excited to to be at 1,000. But my goal is to own 1,000 units in the next year or year and a half. I want to continue building elevation, the group coaching practice. I want to be able to do short term, long term notes. I want to be able to be a capital partner. Being the bank, writing children's books, a children's book, which I'm writing with my daughter Emma, which after this webinar, I plan to do a chapter, right? And then take my show to TV and I'll own a boutique hotel. So that's a little bit about me. So how did I do it, right? So before even getting into the affiliation program and how that works, how did I do it? We did it through what's called a syndication model, where we did have a group of sponsored team or GPs, and we had folks that were LPs, right, or limited partners, right. So we had about 8 or 9 general partners, and we had about 30 to 40 limited partners at LPs. And the way we did it was we raised a certain percentage as far as money down. We use a bridge loan. What will happen is by the end of this year, early next year, I believe, we're gonna refi both those deals, move it into a conventional, traditional mortgage, and then that difference in equity, pay everyone back their principal plus some of their interest, and then they'll get their quarterly payments due to the raise in rent and the raise in occupancy. And by the end of year 5, essentially, they will double their money, right? So that's how we did it. It's called the syndication approach. It's a long-term game, and it's a 5-year hold, right? 5-year plan, right? So it's not a quick fix, quick flip of the money. It is long-term when it comes to that, right? So that's how we did it. And we're actually raising a deal in Cincinnati now. If you know anyone that's interested, we're looking to raise for a big deal in Cincinnati now, right? And we could chat offline about that. So why did we do syndication? We're able to own an apartment building or even a hotel passively. You don't have to deal with tenants, toilets, and trash. You can leverage our expertise. You get the benefits of doing all the real estate without doing any other work, and we get to buy bigger deals together. Bigger is better, as they say, right? So that's how we did it. So I wanted to explain a little bit about how we did it in syndication. So now, before getting into elevation, and wanted to tell you my very quick story because I want to spend a lot more time on the affiliation program itself. So here's me back in 2017, salary job, was doing okay. There's a picture of me and the former president of Berkeley College and one of my former coworkers, right? Salary job, was doing fine, right? I was doing average, right? That's me, my last day. That was my last day. I would say that is May of 2019. 2019 was a very interesting year because I was doing workshops on networking and marketing and all the and transformational leadership on the side in 2018. And in 2019, I decided to register Borja Consulting Group in January. March, I got my doctor of business administration, and then by May, I was able to resign from Berkeley, and I had a handful of clients. And then in the summer of that year, I was able to write my first book. And then by the end of the year, I had a whole plan, kind of what I'm doing now. But unfortunately, COVID happened, and I took a big step back, and it took me a long time for me to get back on my feet, where I found the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, and the rest they say is history, right? So here's a picture of my beautiful family. In August of 19, there's my little Emma, which is not so little anymore. Emily, my wife Sophia in the background, and there's me with my team, right? So that's that. So my so that's my team. That's my family, actually. Did you know that? Did you see
Why do
that?
I look angry?
I don't know. You look. he was crying that day at graduation.
Why?
I don't know. I don't remember.
Oh wait, I think I kind of remember because I thought you were like gone.
Oh yeah, no, I was there. Cool, awesome. Yeah, my daughter's here live with me. All right, so my quick story, and I shared this last week when I did this presentation on capital raising 101, and I'll give you a quick lesson on capital raising 101. Is I started with Allentown. I was gonna purchase something in Allentown because of my debt, because my credit didn't work out. So my real estate investment career was dormant for a couple of years up until a few years ago, where my business partner or ex-business partner at the time was said, "Hey, let's get into multifamily." So I was like, "Okay." So I wasn't just going to jump into it. So I wanted to learn about the process, about multifamily, how to underwrite all that. Um, Eventually landed something in Memphis, which didn't work out. Red flag there. I wound up losing some of the attorney fees. I never got paid for that. And then we were gonna purchase this property in Madeira Beach, May 31st of last year, 2024. My partner at the time didn't have the money, so we were scrambling trying to figure that out. Right after going through the whole due diligence process, after going through all that, right, and uh, unfortunately didn't pan out, right? So I had two choices: either quit or double down. And what do you think I did? I doubled down, and here's a picture of me and some of the crew. Here's Wen, Guzman, Mike Ely, Tim Best, and Nevia Van Wright. So that's us in Southern Pines, filming some content a few months after we close the deal, right? So very, very happy ending there, right? So, so I wanted to give you something really quickly before getting into the mechanics of the affiliate program of how it works, right? So, wanted to give you guys a quick tip in regards to framework that I came up with for the program called the 5C Capital Competence Framework, right? So it's all about connecting, clarifying, converting, closing, and cloning or repeating, right? So when it comes to the first C in the 5C Capital Framework, it's about connecting, right? And having that strategic proximity. It's about being introduced versus being ignored, being in the right rooms versus the wrong rooms. So that's what the first C is about. Being able to, as an example, today I was hammering the point to one of my guys. I was like, do the virtual event, join the virtual event, join the virtual event. And I like to lead by example. So I definitely I attended a networking event today, and as a result of that networking event, I have four introduction calls now that I didn't have prior to this week, right? So they say, in the world of sales, as long as you have 10 meetings a week, you're in good shape, right? Because at least one of them can pan out into something, right? So I always tell my guys, have 10, have 10, have 10, have 10. Now, would 10 closing appointments per week may work? Of course. I mean, that's what we all strive for, right? Like that's like perfection. But I would say if you mix it up, right? If you have a few discovery calls, a few closing calls, a few networking calls, a few referral calls, that's fine, right? That's just the nature of the beast, right? But if you have a blank calendar, you're as they say, you're in deep trouble, right? I was in a curse, but my daughter's here. So that's the first C. The second C is to clarify, crafting your capital story for trust and traction, right? So I kind of breezed through my story, but if I had more time and if we were talking, let's say in 90 minutes, talking about my story as far as for capital raising, right? If this was a capital raising webinar, I probably would have spent a lot more time on it. But I just wanted to give you guys a high level story to kind of tell you how I got to Southern Pines, right? So I breezed through it, but normally I would spend more time as far as the trials and tribulations and struggles throughout my process. I would have spent more time talking about Memphis and talking about my Dura Beach in detail, right? So that's the second C. The third C is converting, right? So it's from a casual conversation to commitment, right? So being able to understand frameworks that close without pressure. I always say I'm a relationship based approach when it comes to selling. Right, it's all about how can I help you, how can you help me, how can I generally help you personally and professionally. I open up my Rolodex figuratively to individuals, and I would love to help in any way, shape, or form. People come to me to talk about like education advice or capital raising advice or entrepreneurship advice. I do what I can, right? But at some point, the chit chatter has to stop, right? The formea, as I mentioned in my first book, has to stop. It has to pivot from, hey, I see you like the Mets, or I see you like the Giants, to let's talk turkey, right? Let's get serious, right? And I think a lot of folks struggle with that, and it's just a matter of look, for a few minutes you could build rapport, but eventually you're gonna have to stop building rapport and then and pivot that conversation into something serious, right? So a lot of folks struggle with that. So that's the third C, and then the fourth and fifth is basically closing. And I always say if you have the right people in the right rooms and if you have a fantastic discovery call, there should be very little to no objections at the end, right? So, in my case, when it comes to pricing, I always, I've done a couple of webinars by now. I have their surveys, and so by now at the end, there's little to no objectives when it comes to price, right? You know what I mean? For me, for at least for me personally, the objections I get a lot is okay, it's this price. Can I do a payment plan? Can I break it up into payments, things of that nature. But the price is black and white. I'm not here to hide it or anything like that. The way I do my webinars and the way I do the one-on-ones, the application before the actual sit down. it breaks it down very clearly, right? So again, if you ask all the right questions, and if you have folks do some type of survey or application prior to them sitting with you one on one, there should be very little to no objections at the end, right? And the common ones are like the price, and the common ones are maybe they're not interested, or but the way we sell, by the time they sit in a webinar with you or a 3-day event with you, you're definitely picking the right folks in the room. There should be little to no objections, but in case there is, right, there's a whole module on that I kind of go over. So there's also the CRM setup, the customer relationship management setup, or software setup. So I use Go High Level, and I tend to use SwiftPress, which was recommended to me by another real estate investor. Um, I use I use two Go High Levels, which is weird, but I'll tell you why in a minute. I use for Bora Consulting, I use Go High Level with one vendor, and I use Capitalist Pro for my real estate. And the reason being that I'm trying to keep the businesses separate, right? So that's why I have two systems going at the same time, right? So again, and I'm putting together some automations when it comes to a couple of past webinars on my website, and I'm doing a few automations on LinkedIn, which will eliminate human error. And then follow up process, we are leveraging both CRMs to kind of help with that, right? So again, that is the 5 C's. Just to recap, for your educational purposes: connect, clarify, convert, close, and clone, right? That's it. When it comes to access to money, right? So as you referring folks, right? Like, hey, Dr. B spoke about the 5 C's, talk about his story, how he got to 100 units, and then he spoke about 14 sources of money, right? So some sources of money can be the 401k, self-directed IRA, home equity or HELOCs, trust funds, personal savings, personal or business line of credit, inheritance fund, life insurance or HSA, personal and business credit cards. And then I added a few here, which could include stocks, could be a venture capitalist, angel investor, PE, private equity, and family office as well, right? So it's a little bit about 14 sources of money. Okay, so now getting into the actual, any questions so far? Yeah, I know. Raphael says no questions. Kato says no questions. And there was someone else in the chat here. Forgot his name. Mr. Travis. Okay, maybe he left. Okay, okay. Maybe he left. Kettner was bounce. He was like, I'm out, base. Nah, I don't know. Hopefully he comes back. And I know I have a couple of others they said they were going to come on. I don't know why they're not here. Right? So, okay. All right. So as far as your shortcut to raising capital, right? So it's all about following the Elevation 90-day mastery method, right? And understanding it, right? And what you want to do as you're referring folks is to learning exactly how to, connect or find and close investors, right? And our deal is all about working or helping folks work for both real estate deals and business funding, right? This could work for either or, right? So why most investors struggle, right, when it comes to entrepreneurs and raising capital. So a lot of folks don't know where to find the right investor. They lack a compelling pitch, right, or get a yes that gets a yes. There's no follow up process that turns interest into funding, right? So very little issues there. Also, it's all about leading by example and proven results, right? So me with my credibility, helping raise client millions for real estate and business, featured in various outlets, right? So this is just a testimonial from one of my one of the folks in cohort one. Elevation's a real deal. Dr. B's coaching helped me move faster and grow smarter. 100% worth the investment in clarity, connection, and strategy. You walk away that are game changer, right? Thank you, Nadia. So capital is the catalyst for your next level, right? So whether it's real estate, being able to have access to fund acquisitions, rehabs, and expansions, even in the world of entrepreneurs, finance growth, product launches and scaling, and also passive investors, which is partnering with deal makers for returns, right? So understanding that, right, and being able to do that, right? So that's the importance of raising that capital, right? So the Elevation 90-day mastery, right? It's a combination of understanding networking, pitching, right? pitch decks, follow-up framework, the CAP 5Cs, kind of how I shared with you. I gave you a quick teaser into elevation there, right? Closing and scaling and being able to secure funds and being able to repeat that 5C process over and over and over again, right? So that's a little bit about the elevation 90-day mastery, right? So again, when it comes to networking mastery, it's identifying high potential investor pools and being in the right rooms. I got invited as an example to a founders pitch event today or yesterday. I can't forget. There was another networking event today. Didn't work out. So with that being said, those are that's where you need to be, right? Connecting with the right private equity or funding managers or wealth managers in order for you to do that, right? Join and lead networking groups, position yourself as a deal maker, knowing your worth, right? So when it comes to pitching perfect, it's about crafting that story-driven pitch, right? Kind of what I went through with the four B's right there, addressing the investor concerns up front and creating urgency without pressure, right? And this is something that I got today actually from one of my good friends, Bilal Muhammad, who just I gave him a couple of tips, not even of course. He said my guidance and structuring his deal without him coming out of pocket as far as like connecting with other investors and things of that nature, believing in his network, and exploring creative options like directed IRA. We had that webinar last night. Gave him the confidence to raise private funds for his rental renovation, right? So my stuff works for sure, right? And I've been doing it for a while, and now niching it strict specifically towards capital raising, it's amazing, right? So when it comes to follow-up frameworks, it's about automated CRM systems to track prospects, strategic follow-up sequences, and also consistent touch points to keep the deals alive, right? So as an example, I'm raising a deal for a deal in Cincinnati, and I have a little 10-day sequence where I'm always having touch points in regards to Cincinnati. In addition to that, I leveraged the webinar last night in order to promote the Cincinnati deal, and I have other ways to have various touch points. So I'm very strategic as far as a follow up process, right? So when it comes to closing and scaling, it's about proving closing scripts, right? Having proven closing scripts like the ones I've been using, legal and compliance considerations, and systematize to raise capital on demand, which I've kind of been doing through email, and I'm working with someone, a freelancer, to help me with LinkedIn on a couple of things, and I'm working with my web team to help me with a couple of webinars on demand to kind of go through the funnel as well, right? And a couple of other things as well, which we were going to do some LinkedIn ads, and we paused that for now, but it's going to come back soon. So it's a little bit about that. And then Rafael, who's on this call, shout out to Rafael, my friend. He had one property, but no clear plan, right, for his next deal. Elevation gave him strategies, network, and confidence he needed to. By the end, he closed on a second property, created a system, and he uses it over and over. So thank you, Rafael, for that. So again, it's all about having real estate investors, helping folks, stuck to fully funded, applying Elevation's process and raise funds fully in less than 3 months, right? So again, that's a little bit about Elevation and about the 90-day mastery. What I could do is I'll send everyone, not just on this call live, but a lot of folks that committed here for whatever reason didn't show up, the opportunity to look at the curriculum. And if interested, I will drop in the chat. I think I have it here. I'll stop sharing my screen in a minute. The opportunity to be an affiliate, partner, right? And I'll go through more of that, what that means in a minute as well, right? So your next deal's waiting, man. So let's elevate and let's do it together, right? So I'm gonna share with you Elevation with you, and being able to earn commissions, right? So there's no coaching or fulfillment required on your end. We do all the work, and it's perfect for other coaches, consultants, entrepreneurs, and investors, right? We do have why become an affiliate partner, right? So being able to, well, before I even do that, any questions from anyone here? No. Raphael says no. Kettner says no. I don't think. And I can't tell who's here. um, All right, no questions. Okay. So basically, when it comes to why becoming a partner, right? So we have the opportunity to have a high ticket commission on every referred sale, help others funding for their deals, and also expand your influence and position as a connector, and get paid at the same time while doing it, right? So why not? Why the heck not, right? All right, so here is the commission potential, right? So we have three tiers, right? So this is on average most of our programs are in this, right? The VIP haven't sold it yet, and base not really. Everything is almost in this realm here. So this is the three prices, and that's the three commission. It is 20% flat all across, right? So as an example here, let's just say as an example, like the elevation program now, it's 10,000 cash or 12,000 on a payment plan. So with that being said, the commission to you would be almost 2,400 if it's if they do the payment plan, and if they pay straight up 10,000, it'd be 2,000 cash for you, right? So think about it. If you do four referrals a month, that's $8,000. I'm sorry, yeah, four referrals a month, that's $8,000 a month. Think about that. You know what I mean. So you're talking very close to six figures in just an introduction, right? Let Raphael, let myself, or Andy, or Aaron, or any members of my team go ahead and close, right? We'll take care of all the process. All you got to do is make sure that the individual gets introduced to us, and make sure that when they do sign up, that they use your specific link, right? Because what happens is once they use your specific link, we could track month in, month out who signed up thanks to your referral process, right? So that's very important, right? When it comes to that, right? So that is, potential great opportunity for anyone to make an extra 2,000, 4,000, 6,000, 8,000. My goal is to cap it at probably like 20, referral partners, right? And if they all could refer one person each, right? You do the math, right? So, so if that's pretty good, right? You're talking 200 grand in that range, right? So that's what we're looking at. We would love to have 20 referral partners. I think we're at like two or three at the moment. But if I would love for everyone here plus everyone watching the recording delayed to be an affiliate partner of Borja Consulting Group, right? So I will drop it in the chat as far as the opportunity to be an affiliate. You just fill out the application or the information, you get approved, and then you'll get an ongoing onboarding email, and then you'll have assets or scripts you could use in regards to you being able to refer folks to us, right? So you'll have digital assets, and you'll have the opportunity. We're going to start doing networking calls, hopefully, and then you'll be having an opportunity to join those calls, and you'll be more familiar with Elevation and the Borja Consulting Group and our family, right? Step two, get equipped. Equipped. I just said with a customized link, access to ready-to-use emails, posts, and marketing material. I'm going to work with Mika, who is my marketing person, to help you get scripts and posts and things of that nature, and get you onboarded with some quick startup training. Okay. And then step three, share and earn, right? Being able to promote Elevation using that specific link, and please, if we have any upcoming webinars to kind of help promote doing that, right? Because um, if they sign up with your link, of course you'll get credit for that, right? I would say also invite your audience to attend, and you'll be able to earn commissions when we close sales from your specific referrals as well, right? So it's a little bit about sharing and earning, right? So again, just to recap, you have the opportunity to have high ticket commissions with no fulfillment work, access to premium marketing tools and resources, ongoing training and support with me, ability to create recurring revenue without doing anything, and be part of a mission driven community. And our goal is to raise capital and kick butt, as they say, right? So I appreciate everyone's time, right? This evening, and I'm going to share the link in the chat for those that are interested in participating, right? So cool, awesome. Any specific questions, Rafael? Did you enjoy it? This side of the coin, now that you're part of the team. So that's the link there. All you got to do is sign up for that. I should get an alert that you became a partner, and then it will trigger me to send you a few emails, and I'll put you in touch with my marketing person. No, no questions? I get a couple of questions. I do get approached is, how does the monthly thing work? Right. So basically, once a month, we'll get a report based on the sales of every individual. Um, yeah, and then based off that report, then we'll be able to pay commission at that point. The other question I get a lot is, um, can they join the program? Well, it depends, right? Usually what we do is it's every 12 weeks is a new cohort. And yeah, with that being said, we'll see. That's TBD. Cool. All right. Looks like we're good. Looks like my Travis dropped off. Looks like Kettner dropped off. Looks like Rafael dropped was going to drop off officially. And all right, so that wraps up. If there's no other questions, I appreciate everyone's time, and I will make sure to post this or have this on the on our website. So thank you so much. Have a great evening, and hope to see you elevate and be an affiliate partner. Thank you.